Ah, breakfast. The most important meal of the day. Now, some people have their favorite things. Some people enjoy eggs, some people enjoy bacon, and other people enjoy hash browns. But what happens when you mix all three of those together, plus a few random ingredients, to make something bite-sized that you can pop in your mouth when you're supposed to be at work 10 minutes ago? That's right, hash brown cups. Let's get cooking. Alright, first thing you're going to do is you're going to grab that muffin tin that's sitting in the way back of your cabinet, probably collecting dust, or in my case, never used before because I've never had a reason, except for now. Then with a nice can of cooking spray, you're going to lightly mist the inside of each one of those little divots. Boom baby, hash browns. Now this was a 28-ounce package of frozen hash browns that I did leave in the refrigerator overnight, just they're a little more soft and pliable for this next step here. And if you haven't guessed already, the next step is to evenly divide all those potatoes inside of each one of those 12 little divots. That's a fun word to say, divots. Divots, divots, divots. So now that all those potatoes are divided evenly amongst all 12 of those divots, said it again, the next step is to kind of push everything up against the side, creating a little crater in the middle. And yes, I thought I was being cool here with this shot, but this is essentially what you're looking for. In an oven set at 375 degrees, we're going to bake these for roughly 25 minutes, just until they're golden brown, and then set aside until further use. So while our hash browns bake, let's work on the fillings. Into a medium mixing bowl goes 4 large eggs, 2 tablespoons of milk, followed by a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, and a teaspoon of hot sauce. Now we're just going to give that a little whiskey mixy business until well combined. And then the most important part, the salt and pepper, just to taste on this, alright? It's your preference. Do it how you please. And then obviously a little more whiskey mixy business. So now setting those eggs aside, it's time to get working on the rest of the filling. So into a pan, notice this brand new pan, we're going to put some bacon. And speaking of bacon, this is how I cut it. Now I also used the same technique in another video where I made bacon jam. And if you haven't checked that out, click above. Go give it a watch. But anyways, enough trying to show you other videos. We're going to watch this one, okay? But back to the bacon. What we're going to do here is on a medium heat, we're going to start to render all that fat out of that bacon until we get some nice crispy bits. Now it is going to take a little bit of time, so don't fret. It's going to happen. Just let the bacon do what it's got to do. Now as you can see here, our bacon is crispy. Now what I'm doing here is taking it right out of that pan onto a plate that has been lined with a little bit of paper towel just to absorb any bacon grease. After all the bacon is removed from the pan, you're going to drain off a good majority of that grease left over, but keeping about, a tablespoon for the next step. Which leads us into our next step, which is adding 1 diced bell pepper into the pan. And we're going to mix it up and let that bell pepper cook. So now the bell peppers are all nice and sweaty in the pan, it's time to add some mushrooms. So into the pan I'm adding 8 ounces of my favorite mushrooms, which is just the generic store-bought white ones. Looking back on it, I would have bought some whole mushrooms just so I could slice them a little bit thinner. They took forever to cook, man, come on now. But now it's just time to let them cook, let them reduce, let them caramelize, get sexy in the pan. So what feels like 2 hours but is actually 5 minutes, this is what you're left with. Now it's time to add that egg mixture into the pan. Let's do it right now. Pour it in there. Come on. Go. Pour it in. And then from here, it's time to turn those liquid eggs into scrambled eggs. So, I'm sure you've made scrambled eggs at home. And if I'm wrong in saying that, well, you should. Alright? What we're doing is just agitating that pan, moving those solids out of the way, some more liquid get on the bottom, and then turn it into solids. And about halfway through the scrambling process, we're going to add in 1 cup or 1 big handful of fresh spinach. Oh yeah, and then just mix it around. Let it wilt. We like it when it wilts. Then once all your spinach is wilted, it's time to add in 1/2 cup of your favorite shredded cheese. For this, I'm using Monterey Jack. And now all that cheese is melted, it's time to add in all that bacon that we had off on the side. Remember the plate with the paper towel and that paper towel to absorb all that bacon grease? Yeah, add it in the pan, mix it around, stir it up. So by now, those hash browns should be able to come out of the oven. All we're going to do is place a nice little spoonful in each one of those divots until they're full, and then sprinkle with a little bit of cheese on top. Now these are going to place back into the oven and baked for about 3 to 4 minutes just until that cheese is melted and golden brown. So there you have it, mini hash brown cups, and I'm not going to lie, they are delicious and you are going to love this recipe. They're so quick, So simple, you can stuff them with whatever you please. You don't have to follow the recipe. But at the same time, you know, I kind of recommend following the recipe because that's what I kind of made the video for. But yes, I promise you, you will enjoy them. Now, what I need from you is to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next episode of Fat Boy Cooking.